Hi, welcome to Wrestling on Space. I'm Joe. And to my left is Pat Young.
Howdy.
I don't get last name because I forgot it. This is nerve-wracking. We're about to throw millions.
You want me to take over?
No. Slamboree 1996 happened in May of 1996.
This is my part.
And Pat's going to take it over from here, but this is his punch-on review for getting destroyed at TLC 2018. But I wiped the floor from so bad and he doesn't want to admit it. Stats do not count here, neither do facts. So we're just moving on.
It was one match.
We're just moving on to that nice day in May of 1996.
He beat him by one. Literally, if I literally did the main event to my second option, which I was kind of thinking about anyway, I still would have beat his ass. I would have tied his ass. I wouldn't have beaten him. I would have tied him.
I don't want you to beat my ass. So we're already tied if you shot a gun to your head.
Anyway, Slamboree 1996. Lethal Lottery. Tagline. What goes up must come down.
Hard.
Hard.
I don't know why we're still on top of one another.
I don't know either.
But I did watch this show too because I thought it was my pay-per-view to watch.
It comes to us live from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in the Riverside Centroplex. Attendance 7,791.
That's horrible.
On the date of May 19th, in the year of our Lord, 1996.
That's horrible attendance for a WCW show in 96.
Well, it does not, in fact, include Hogan.
That's very good for a WCW show in 96.
And however, things are going to get a lot more interesting in WCW after this pay-per-view.
Which, by the
within
way,
a couple weeks, Scott Hall will actually crash Monday Nitro.
Which, by the way, I almost gave you Bad Shot to Beach 1996. That's a very good show, by the way. I know you won't like that, but what's the joy in complimenting things for WCW?
Well, anyway,
Seriously, a very good show.
The big hullabaloo tonight will in fact be Lethal Lottery.
Wow.
Which they get a whole bunch of guys. I don't even know, and I don't feel like counting to actually express how many people, but essentially,
16?
yeah, it's
No, wait, no. No, wait, no. The time actually right there.
it's 32 teams. It's 32 guys, 16 teams, 2 rounds of tournament action, and then the surviving teams get thrown into Battle Royal later in the show. And the winner of that Battle Royal gets a future WCW World Title shot.
Still wondering if DDP or guys went to the show.
Short answer is no. No, he didn't.
Not in this hour.
No, he would actually earn his title shot some other way, probably.
Okay.
Your hosts for tonight were, in fact, Tony Schiavone, Dusty Rhodes, and Bobby Heenan. Going off this review, thank you, Matt, who did this review 10 years ago on pdwrestling.net. And the current champions are, in fact, the Giant, Conan, Sting, and Luger for the tag titles. World Television Champion,
U.S. for
Luger.
Conan.
Yeah. Giant World Heavyweight, U.S. for Conan.
Okay.
Tag Team, Sting and Luger.
And Cruiserweight.
Television, Luger. And Cruiserweight, Dean Malenko. So let's get to the first match. And all 32 guys were picked at random for their tag team pairings.
Let me tell you about watching this show.
Random. And even the matches themselves were picked at random. Because the first match is Road Warrior Animal and Booker T, 2 enemies, by the way. I know, so random. Versus Road Warrior Hawk. Wow. A tag team split up. So random. And Lex Luger. Alright, he may have been random.
They were feuding with him and Sting were feuding with the Road Warriors Harvey. Oh, actually, they're not at that point. Never mind. No. Never mind.
Not only do we get the obvious possibility of Hawk versus Animal, Luger and Booker T both had their problems with LOD in the past. Luger and Animal start the match with delivering with Lex delivering a power slam. Animal takes a while getting up to his feet. When he does, He takes Luger down with a clothesline and a power slam of his own. Jumping shoulder block by Animal, he telegraphs a backdrop and takes a suplex. But Animal no sells it and hits Luger with a drop kick. He kind of had a strange drop kick, to be honest. He did. Like, you wouldn't expect him. He's just a big guy, and you wouldn't expect him. He's like a defensive lineman.
That's what it was.
Yeah. He nails Lex with the. I get some drop there. Tag to Booker. He nails Lex with a hook kick, but runs into a boot and takes a clothesline. Booker comes back with a spinneroonie with a spinneroonie and a jumping sidekick. Scissors kick connects, but Hawk breaks up the pin. Luger gets pissed that Hawk thinks he needs to be saved, I guess. They get into a shoving match, which causes the whole thing to break down out onto the floor, with tag team partners fighting each other, for a double count out to eliminate both teams in the first round. Seriously, that's how you start your tournament. Like I get having having one match since you're putting it all in one show. That one match doesn't actually go to a clean finish or whatever to actually have, I guess, second round bye showing up your tournament a little bit. But literally the first match, and it wasn't actually even that. It wasn't even that good.
Animal Booker showed one.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But yeah, it wasn't that interesting of a match, and seriously, the first match of your tournament already goes to a double count out. F.
High confidence.
So we go to the next match, Public Enemy. Random, right? Versus Chris Benoit and Kevin Sullivan.
Random, because they feud.
Yeah.
They're in a feud.
Benoit and Sullivan share an awkward high five before the match. Yikes. Rocco Rock handles Benoit pretty well with a couple of head scissor takedowns. Benoit blocks a third with a powerbomb. Best part of the show so far. Benoit doing the Cabbage Patch dance. That definitely was in fact a sight. Benoit was literally going like this. That's what he was doing. That's the Cabbage Patch dance. He then tags to Sullivan and things escalate into a brawl. Sullivan gets put on a table for a somersault plancha from Rocco. Benoit cuts him off with the clothesline while Sullivan is beating up Grunge with chairs. Rocco gives Benoit a suplex from the apron to the floor. Now both Benoit and Sullivan are put on the table and Public Enemy. I'm sorry. Are both put on the Public Enemy table for the enemy sandwich. Dusty has a name for it, but you can't understand it. Sullivan moves and Benoit goes through, and I think it was Rocco Rock goes through the table through Benoit. They throw him back in the ring and Rocco pins Benoit 1, 2, 3.
As we all die.
This match made me die a little inside. One of the best parts of the match was Benoit literally dancing. I've never seen that before in my life.
I don't need to see it, yeah.
Yeah. And just showing the sheer principle of Benoit losing to a member of Public Enemy. F. We go to the next match. Literally, I'm going straight through the match because literally that's what the show did. They had a slight recap and literally played the music right after. It felt very much like a WCW show.
Well, that would be a compliment if you feel like yourself.
WCW shows usually just, there was no breath or whatever. It was just continuous.
Bash at the Beach was a very good
They
show.
didn't really let moments sink in.
Bash at the Beach was a very good show. I'll keep it on front on your face. But you chose Slamboree.
I didn't choose Slamboree.
That's what I wanted to do.
So here we go. Scott Steiner and Sergeant Craig Pittman. With Teddy Long, mind you, he finally found himself a manager. Which I guess it takes a while from when we're doing the Monday Night War reviews.
Hey, he's been well, maybe he'll camouflage.
So Scott Steiner and Craig Pittman versus Rick Steiner, random, right? Brothers against each other. And the Booty Man with the Booty Babe.
Kimberly.
And
Meatcake.
Who would have guessed that Pittman's manager would be Teddy Long, who managed like every black wrestler in WCW. The odds are about as staggering as the pairings in the Battle Bowl. Anyways, we might see some Steiner brother action here. Pittman and Booty Man start us off. Nobody wants to see that. Scott tags in and gets roughed up by Booty. Funny enough, he turned out to be the big bad Booty Daddy. So, I guess it eventually works out for him. He hits a knee lift, but then ducks low off of a weapon, takes a double underhook slam. Rick and Pittman give it a shot. Rick power slams Pittman out of his boots, but Pittman ducks a wild swing and drops Rick on his head with a German suplex. Rick hits him with a Steiner line, so Pittman has to tag out to Scott. Here we go. This isn't like 1998 when it sucked. But both guys can still go, and Scott isn't all scarred. Scott gets a fireman's carry throw. Rick takes Scott down with a headlock. Off a whip, Scott catches Rick, dropping to the mat, and grabs a wrist lock. They switch out of that. They switch out of that up to their feet. Scott hits Rick with a quick T-bone suplex, but he comes back with a Steiner line. Scott acts like he's hurt and suckers Rick into a small package. Rick telegraphs a backdrop and gets stuck in a full Nelson. Rick counters and delivers a release dragon suplex. Rick heads up top, but Scott catches him with a T-bone suplex. Rick has enough and tags out. Here comes the Booty Man. He runs into the post as Scott tags in Pittman. That sets up the code red. Booty inches over to Rick for a tag under the top rope. That's not allowed. Well, ref allows it anyway, as Rick grabs Pittman for a bridging German suplex 1, 2, 3. So far, the best matchup of the first round tournament. Was that any good? No, not really. But I am going to pass because the part with the Steiner brothers facing off was kind of awesome. And kind of almost like a foreshadowing of what would happen in a Steiner versus Steiner feud. We go directly into the next match. The Blue Bloods versus... Oh, I gave it a D-. Literally, I just didn't fail it. Because of the Steiners. Anyway, we go into the next match. The Blue Bloods versus Jim Duggan and VK Wall Street. Okay, well, at least they explain why the Blue Bloods are a team in this tournament. Because it was originally Regal and Finlay together. But Finlay got injured in a parking lot brawl in late April and headed back to Ireland, so fellow Blue Blood squire Dave Taylor took his place. Oh yeah, Duggan and Wall Street are also feuding too, so I guess we can give this match a check mark for random. Duggan powers Regal around while Wall Street refuses to tag. However, Wall Street does get a tag when he's not paying attention. He trades some forearms with the Blue Bloods and tags Duggan when he's not paying attention. Duggan wants him some of Wall Street, but that just serves to assist the Blue Bloods in the sneak attack. Duggan fights off the Blue Bloods, nails Wall Street, tapes up his fist, the thing you used to do, just tape his fist and just swing it around, get the tape, and then...
Like the worst before you were wrestling too?
Yeah, and then knocks out Dave Taylor for the win. Yeah, that wasn't any good. So yeah, the actual tag team that could actually get the advantage because the two other guys hate each other or feuding,
And they can actually wrestle.
and the good team that can actually wrestle has to get knocked out by Hacksaw Jim Duggan. F. Straight to the next match again. Dick Slater and Earl Robert Eaton.
The other blue one.
Table. Yep. With Colonel Robert Parker and Jeeves versus Alex Wright and Disco Inferno.
Oh, well, it was almost random.
The Boogie Nights.
Before they were Boogie
Years before they were in fact the Boogie Nights.
So that one might actually been random.
Yeah, that could have easily been random.
Hello. How are you doing?
As Joe's hitting on the Nitro Girls.
Okay, that one.
On our TV right now.
No, not just anyone.
Whisper.
No, the one before.
Kimberly.
Whisper's not even there.
I just took a guess, alright?
Hello, Spice. Spice, Jade, Fire, Sky, and Kimberly.
Well, anyway.
How do I know that?
Back to this next shitty first round match. Slater owns Disco to start. Wright flips over Eaton off a corner whip and peppers Eaton with European uppercuts. Leg lariat gets 2, Slater tags in and delivers a swinging neckbreaker to Wright. Pile driver is reversed with a backdrop. Hot tag to Disco. Or hot tag to Disco, more like. Question. Wright and Eaton dump each other out to the floor. Colonel Robert Parker distracts the ref as Slater wallops Disco while he's dancing. As he's dancing in the back of the head with a boot. That'll do. Not a good match ever, but at least this one was short, and I couldn't even grade it. It's 2 minutes and 57 seconds.
And again, the roll team goes over. I mean, you got 3 Alex Wright in the match.
Finally, we get to a match, the first round match that sounds halfway decent. Diamond Dallas Page and Barbarian versus Hugh Morris and Ming.
Oh, that's considered halfway decent.
Yeah.
I mean, you got DDP and Haku, but still. That's considered halfway decent on the other side.
This is DDP's first match back since he lost everything in Uncensored. He's got new tights with the DDP logo on the hips. They're navy green, and I think the trim, like right around his waist, is purple. So reverse Joker colors. Page thumbs Morris in the eye and grabs a headlock. Morris shoves him off and knocks him to the floor for a pescado, but Page moves and Morris splats on the floor. Back in, Page gets caught and gets a kick. Caught, but gets spun around for a discus clothesline for 2. And now the Faces of Fear explode. Neither man sells for the other for a while. Finally, Barbarian kicks Ming to the mat. In comes Page, who gets pressed onto Ming. After all, the Barbarian misses an elbow drop and takes a diving headbutt from Ming. Mars tags in and heads up top for an elbow drop on Barbarian. Looks like DDP was supposed to crotch him. They do the same spot again. This time they succeed. Barbarian brings Mars down with a belly-to-belly suplex for 1-2 no. Mars comes back and hits No Laughing Matter, but DDP makes a save. But Faces of Fear guys deliver the kick of fear and make the cover, but Page has his foot under the bottom rope during the count, and Mars doesn't. So with that, DDP and Barbarian advance. So far, easily the best match of the tournament. It was a little bit sloppy in parts as I've read, but at least it was actually a cohesive match.
Think about it like this: it was so random that 3 members of the dungeon do more in it.
Yes. Well, I guess eventually they would be in the same matches because there's like 50 members of the Dungeon of Doom.
There's a Leprechaun too. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Oh, you know about Leprechaun? Because I didn't remember Leprechaun until I was watching back. Until I jumped the hell on some old intros.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Leprechaun.
I gave the match a D. straight into the next match again. Big Bubba and Stevie Ray. That is a very random team. Versus Fire and Ice.
That's not random.
That's not random. That's actually a tag team going on. If you don't know, it's Scott Norton and Ice Train.
If you don't know who they are, then we can't help it.
If you don't know who they are,
don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It won't affect your life.
Russell knowledge is still debate.
Since the last time you saw Big Bubba, he turned into a biker guy and joined with the Dungeon of Doom. Norton destroys Stevie Ray to start. Bubba tags in and avalanches Norton. Sidewalk Slam gets 2. Ice Train tags in, hits seated senton on Bubba. Double KO ensues. Norton tags and whips Bubba into Stevie Ray on the apron. That sets up Fire and Ice double team running shoulder block on Bubba as Norton gets the pin. This was a pretty lame match, pretty short, and it's every good as sounding as a Fire and Ice match.
A lot of good workers in that match, though.
Excuse me one moment. Alright, sorry about that, a little bit of technical difficulties. But yeah, Big Bubba and Stevie Ray versus Fire and Ice. Yeah, I'll agree wholeheartedly with this, Lane. F.
And you know what's funny? There was like 4 good workers in the match. 1.
There was like 1.
Ice Train.
We go into the next round match. The final first round match, I believe.
As a global. Some big names in this one.
Yeah. It is Eddie Guerrero and Arn Anderson versus Randy Savage and Ric Flair.
This has potential to be a show stealer.
It's supposed to be random, but screw it. I'm going with it for this match. Ric Flair's music hits first before Savage makes his entrance, which makes you think Savage might have done something to Flair. Nope, Flair just didn't want to come out behind with Savage coming behind him. That really does make sense. Eddie's just in the way here with Flair and Arn Anderson beat down on Savage. He turns Rick around and
listen, Mike, Eddie's never in the way. Go fuck yourself, Mike.
He turns Rick around and unloads on him. Here comes Women and Liz. Now that Savage is left laying on the apron, Flair has enough of Eddie and thumps him to the eye. He tags Savage and brings Guerrero over to Arn for a tag. They can continue to destroy Savage. He fires back and charges Arn, but gets caught in it with a spinebuster. Cover, 1-2, no. Arn yanks Savage into Flair's corner. Flair chops his own partner, but forgets about Eddie. Big mistake as Guerrero chops the crap out of Flair into the corner. Tornado DDT connects. Savage finally wakes up and attacks Flair, allowing Double A to run in and DDT Eddie. That allows Arn to pull Savage off Flair and toss him into the guardrail, while Flair covers Eddie for the 1-2-3. It was a clusterfuck, but it was fun as hell.
It was the best match on the card.
Clearly the best match on the card up until this point. And every guy played their part pretty well, and everything pretty much made sense. I gave it a C. We head over to some random second round drawings for Battle Bowl with Gene Okerlund and a trio of Hooters girls. Because for a double count out in the first match, Gene has to pick a bye who will go straight into Battle Bowl. Fire and Ice receive the bye. In the second round, Eaton and Slater will meet Wall Street and Duggan. Okay. So the second round's not going to be much better either.
What second round's worse?
We go to the next match, WCW Cruiserweight Championship match. Dean Malenko, who is champion, versus Brad Armstrong. Brad Armstrong is in fact the brother of Road Dogg, for those who don't know.
I did.
I know you did.
Okay.
Malenko had just won the Cruiserweight title from Shinjiro Otani on Worldwide 2 days earlier. This guy will have a review of it later. If you say it's still mad from PD Wrestling.
From 10 years ago.
From 10 years ago. So it's probably up now. Before the match, Tony brings up the lengthy double elimination Cruiserweight title tournament like it was a real thing. When Otani only had to defeat Benoit to win the belt, and that was back on March 20th. Otani had only been recognized by WCW as the Cruiserweight champion recently, as far as announcing his win on TV when they decided to put the belt on Malenko. Another interesting note, Brad Armstrong was the final WCW light heavyweight champion in 1992 and had to give up the belt when he injured his knee. A title tournament was rumored to fill the vacancy, but it was never carried out. If you consider the history there, it's only fitting that he would receive the first Cruiserweight title shot on pay-per-view. So, logic actually does fit there. Armstrong meets up with Malenko on the mat to start. Nice enziguri by Armstrong. Malenko takes a moment and regroups on the floor. Back in, he teases a knuckle lock and catches Armstrong in the knee with a low drop kick. And here we go. Malenko proceeds and to try and Uncle Brad by also backing up his Man of 1,000 Holds moniker. Solid stuff here, just not that interesting. I agree with his sentiments there. Armstrong hobbles through his comeback, but then goes to the top for a missile dropkick. Kind of an odd setup and just need for psychology. He hooks a Texas cloverleaf, but he makes the ropes. Malenko catches Brad up top and delivers a super gutbuster. I always like that move with Dean. It always looks vicious. That gets the 1-2-3. Yeah, I thought this was a solid match. Not anything spectacular, mind you. Not anything as good as what would come later in that month when Rey Mysterio finally joins the Cruiserweight division, and we get a little bit more high-flying interest there. But as for this match, it's actually up there on the same level as the best match in the night so far. Fine match, nothing offensive, and way more interesting match compared to the rest of this card. I give the match a C. More random second round drawings from Gene and the Hooters Girls. Public Enemy takes on Ric Flair and Randy Savage. Never thought that match would ever happen, or ever did happen. And DDP and Barbarian will meet Rick Steiner and the Booty Man. At the risk of sounding negative, why even draw the last match? Isn't it a given that it would be DDP versus Rick Steiner and the Booty Man if Fire and Ice got the bye? If there are only the two teams left. Sound conjecture. Well, anyway, we go to the first second round match. Earl Robert Eaton and Dick Slater with Colonel Robert Parker versus Jim Duggan and VK Wall Street. Eaton and Slater capitalize on Duggan and Wall Street's stupidity as they start beating each other up. And just like that, they fight off Eaton and Slater and whip them into each other. They go back to putting up their dukes, but Wall Street outsmarts Duggan and knees him out to the floor. That leaves Wall Street to get double teamed, and we all thought Duggan was dumb. Russian leg sweep from Slater gets 2. Wall Street makes a comeback on Eaton. He grabs an old standby on Eaton. The abdominal stretch. He needs a helping hand from Duggan, but nope. Cheating is not the American way. Slater breaks up the hold, but Duggan comes in and cleans house on his opponents. Duggan gets the crowd going, but stomping the mat. Slater escapes the chinlock into a double KO. tag to Wall Street. Eaton rakes the eyes and slams him with a flying knee. Wall Street catches him up top and slams Eaton down. Wall Street goes to nail Eaton in his own corner, but ducks, and Duggan gets hit in the face. It's the second time. It happens a second time, and Duggan strikes back to cause Wall Street to fall backwards into a roll up. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that was just kind of a dumb finish, and sort of like what this lethal lottery would imply. Thank you, Joe.
I am so sorry about that. I had to have my own technical difficulties.
He had to take a shit, in other words.
No, I had to drink Maverick.
So you had to piss on someone's robe?
Yes.
Well, anyway, him peeing is a lot more interesting than what this match
Which
is.
match was that?
This was
Oh, that sucked.
VK Wall Street
Yeah,
and Duggan versus Eaton and Slater.
Yeah.
Yeah, just not good. F.
What did you grade the Dean Malenko and
As a reminder to you guys too, I graded it as C.
was that all I missed?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm pretty sure Pal will be right back in our next video with part 2.
Yes. It took a while to get through that.
That's anniversary. 1997. 1996, see you then.
See you then.